Good morning. Can you hear me? Good morning, everyone. Can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Oh, good. Olivia, can you hear me? I can just see the top of her head. Well, good morning. Happy Friday.
Happy Friday.
Huh. I wonder why Olivia can't hear. Unless she's telling me she can hear me, but I just can't see her face. I'll let her know. I'll type her a message. Oops. All right. Well, at least she knows now if she reads that. We'll go ahead and get started. Okay. All right. So I'll go ahead and mute everybody and we'll get started. Here we go. Dream, Yule, all right, sense, hang, close, act, manage, game, ignore, stare, taken, party, add, sometimes, job, 10, date, quiet, gaze, group, dead, straight, loud, neck, beside, pause, number, conversation, chance, wheel, rose, quietly, town, blood, color, desk, dinner, hall, horse, music, brought, peace, anymore, beautiful, order, fire, office, true, although, warm, easy, enter, perfect, mutter, softly, shock, smirk, damn, soft, please, set, what's, family, many, worry, roll, parents, under, surprise, water, onto, weir, glance, wall, between, scene, read, window, idea, white, push, feet, such, must, seat, set, red, brother, these, whole, learn, lean, part, person, slightly, shook, pass, fact, wrong, gone, far, hit, finger, quite, hate, meet, finish, heart, book, past, kill, reason, anyone, figure, top, along, world, sheed, high, shirt, does, today, young, held, outside. All right. Let's do some common phrases. You're going to phrase as much as possible. Here we go. To believe, to feel, to have been, to have believed, to have had, to have recalled, to have remembered, to have wanted, to recall, to understand, to want, to your knowledge, according to, I didn't mean to, I don't mean to, previous to, prior to, referring to, that I mean to, that you mean to, too large, too long, too many, too much, too often, took place, $1 trillion, yours truly, yours very truly, as I understand, as we understand, can he understand, can understand, can you understand, could understand, did he understand, did I understand, did you understand, do I understand, does he understand, he understand, he understands, I can understand, I didn't understand, I don't understand, I understand, may understand. All right. Let's do some names and addresses. Here we go. Mr. Jim N. Neisnick, Niznik, Lackland High School, 228 Puckett Street, Lackland Air Force Base, San Antonio, Texas, 78236. Ann T. Reska, RESCA, King Phillips Regional School, P.O. Box 49201 Franklin Street, Wrentham, Massachusetts, 02093. Betty D. Frederick, FREDERICK, Athens Drive High School, 1420 Athens Drive, Adams, North Carolina, 27606. Jane S. Lazar, LAZAR, Transaction Technology Incorporated, 3100 Ocean Park Boulevard, Santa Monica, California, 90405. Edith A. Phill, PHILL, Hibbing High School, Independent School District number 70, Hibbing, Minnesota. Ms. S.K. Zuhldorf, ZUEHLSDORF, Globe Battery Division, Johnson Controls, P.O. Box 591, Milwaukee, Wisconsin, 53201. Karen E. Hornyak, HORNYAK, 722 and a half West Dover Street, Worthington, Idaho, 73250. Valerie G. Petrosky, PETROSKY, Federal Reserve Bank, P.O. Box 6387, Cleveland, Ohio, 44101. Jose R. Nolasco, NOLASCO, 589 Agronaut Street, Manteca, California, 95336. All right, let's do some sentences with initial consonants FL. Here we go. Florida's flag is flying proudly. The flying flare flew through the air. Flabby flesh is not flattering. The flowers flopped because they were flooded. The fluid should be flowing fluently. The fluorescent lights flashed and flickered. The flashy, flirtatious female had flipped. My husband flattened the fleeing flatterer. I almost flipped when I saw the fluffy flowers. Flounder, flip, and flop after being caught. The flittering finch flew around the flamingo. The flyers flew their scheduled flights with flippers. The flatboat had a floodlight on a flagpole. Flappers flirt in flimsy clothes. Flying flamingos have floppy wings that flap and flap. Flannels are flammable when lit with a flare. We killed the fleeing fleas with the fluid. Fluorescent floodlights fluctuate on flag ships. Good flour makes fluffy and flaky pie crust. I was flabbergasted by her flabbiness. All right. Doublets. Here we go. Frozen yogurt, optimum force, broad limitation, controversial subjects, district repertoire, democratic ideals, suburban statistics, distillate fuels, substantive law, suburban statistics, alternative methods, popularity contest, literary masterpiece, athletic scholarships, electron circuitry, installation ceremony, carpool incentives, systematic evaluation, complimentary dinners, substantial rankings, technical controversy, and behavioral strategies. All right. My next drill is going to be words that end with shall, shush, and shun endings. I'm going to give you some words first. and then the sentences. Here we go. Judicious, nutritious, loquacious, vicious, fictitious, concussion, fashion, permission, tradition, flirtation, credential, essential, artificial, glacial, beneficial. A policy is essential. The effect is glacial. She isn't very social. It looks artificial. Fix the differential. I have my credentials. My appetite is voracious. Your friend is loquacious. Her furs are ostentatious. Her dress is atrocious. His reason was specious. The child was precocious. I felt the vibration. Avoid any duplication. I must fight inflation. The location is perfect. What is your vocation? It was a mass migration. The delegation is right here. He works at Prudential. The tail is fallacious. They rely on irrigation. He did a superficial job. Vicious rumors are flying everywhere. The home is very spacious. What is your initial? Use a rotation system. The rains were torrential. Go in for your facial. The raise is unofficial. Are they suspicious? He prefers cremation. Serve nutritious meals. Attend the celebration. The bear is ferocious. I'm going on vacation. He has great potential. He hides his emotion. What's the commotion? The victim is unconscious. What time is the audition? It is such a crucial time. My name is fictitious. I signed the petition. All right. Let's do some medical words. Here we go. Synarthrosis, anemia, histology, adduction, eruption, cataract, nourishment, disease, laboratory, orthodontia, inflammation, vascular, memory, vomiting, pericardium, abdomen, infarction, experiment, venosclerosis, articulate, neurologist, aspirin, prednisone, standardized, occiput, nasal, tracheostomy, cerebrum, genetics, cervical, pylonidal, aspirin, hemophilia, mastoid, alcoholism, painful, aspiration, pelvis, hypodermic, analgesics, symptom, metacarpal, sublingual, hernia, quadriceps, cardiology, periarterial. All right. Let me just state this. We're going to do one more. This is just Tangle Tamers, and then we're going to move on to literary. Here we go. Persecution complex, school enrollment, bicycling maneuver, foreseeable future, held temporarily, earthquake resistant, nationwide offensive, helicopters hovering, seriously dehabilitated, residential demobilization, experimental procedure, billion-dollar merger, antitrust ruling, mislabeled submissions, effectiveness questioned, treatment quarantined, fiscally responsible, and health technician. All right, let's move on to literary. This is going to be a sheriff's report that was read in court. I've got several of these and they're great practice. A lot of times these are read in court as evidence. This is on felony assault. I'm going to start at 180 and I'll work my way to 225. Okay. Here we go. On 3/25/15, I was assigned to patrol in the city of Boulder. I was wearing a full Class A uniform and driving a marked patrol unit. At 20:03 hours, I was assigned to respond to the victim's address in reference to an assist from fire regarding a male who was reported to have been extremely intoxicated and combative. I arrived at the location at 20:04 hours and contacted the victim, who was later identified as Noelle Hines. Hines initially advised me her son was upstairs in the bathroom, passed out from extreme intoxication. Hines appeared extremely frightened that her son might wake up and explained that he was unpredictable and had been violent with her for the last several hours. Suspect contact, Hines, Matthew, 5:15:75. While speaking with the victim, I heard some movement upstairs and saw what appeared to be a human shadow moving around. I identified myself and contacted the suspect at the stairs. The suspect told me that he felt sick and was attempting to go lie down. I asked the suspect to come into the hallway so I could speak to him. During my contact, I asked the suspect if he had a problem with his mother, and he indicated that he didn't. I asked him if he had a sword in his hand and had possibly threatened his mother with it. He indicated that he had spoken to her about the sword, but only as an antique, and he did not threaten his mother with it. While speaking to the suspect, the mother walked by and nodded her head as if he had threatened her with it. However, the fire department walked in and I allowed them to contact the suspect and evaluate him for any possible medical problems. Once fire had cleared the suspect and determined there to be no immediately health risk to the suspect, I detained the male by placing handcuffs on his wrists. I then walked him outside to my patrol unit and sat him in the rear seat of my patrol unit. I returned to the house and spoke to the victim about what had happened. Victim statement, Hines, Noelle. I interviewed the victim inside the residence. The following is a summary of her statement. Hines said for years she has had problems with her son's violent outburst towards her. She told me that her son is currently on parole or probation for what he has done to her in the past, and she said he has a history of elder abuse. Hines also said there is a valid protective order where she is the protected party and her son is the restrained party. She explained her son was supposed to have no contact with her at all. I asked her why she allowed her son to stay in the residence, and she stated he came back in by jumping the fence, and she didn't know what else to do. She started to explain his behavior as being chronically abusive, calling her names, telling her he wished she was dead, but described that on this date, at approximately 1500 hours, she noticed her son was very intoxicated and started arguing with her again, calling her names. She told him she wanted him to get some help and tried to make a phone call. However, he grabbed the phone from her and kept it from her. She was able to get upstairs and retrieve her phone. She came back downstairs into the kitchen and attempted to call her other son And when she did, her son started jumping over the chairs, trying to get her cell phone. He attempted to take a sword off of the wall in the living room and told her he wished her dead. He was able to get a hold of a second sword and then approached her in the kitchen. However, while in the kitchen, he picked up a kitchen knife and held it against her chest. At that point, the victim said her son told her, "I want you dead, dead, dead." The victim said she was scared of the suspect, but was also too tired to continue fighting with him. So she told him, "If you're going to stab me, just do it." The suspect allowed the victim to walk away only for a moment and then followed her into the garage, where he drew the second sword from its sheath and started swinging it around. At that point, the suspect made another comment about his mother dying, and then he lunged at her with the sword. Hines said she needed to get out of the way to avoid being stabbed by the sword. She told her son that she was going to attempt to find their dogs that ran away when the garage door opened. Initially, the suspect refused to allow Hines to leave, but she was able to get into the car. The suspect told Hines if she called the police, they were going to have to kill him to get him out of the residence. He told her if the police came, it was going to take a SWAT team with bombs to get him out of the residence. The suspect then put the sword down and walked back into the residence, and Hines was able to take possession of the sword and put it away so it could no longer be used as a weapon against her. Hines was then able to call for assistance. When her son went upstairs, he went into the upstairs bathroom and passed out. Hines said there was nothing specific that set off her son's rage, but he has hated her since he was about 16 years old, and he had frequently reacted violently towards her. Hines was seated in the living room, and I advised her that I was going to go get her a victim's rights card. As I walked out, a friend walked in who identified herself as Raquel Lemon. I returned, and Hines advised me that when the suspect held the knife to her, it caused a wound to her chest. She agreed to show the wound to Lemon, and while exposing the wound to Lemon, she realized that she did not overly expose herself, so she was willing to show me the injury so I could photograph it. I was able to photograph a cut that appeared to be approximately an inch long, which was consistent with being cut by a sharp object. I provided Hines with a victim's rights card, and I advised her that I would need her cooperation during the prosecution. Hines advised me that she was afraid of testifying against her son because she had to do it once before, but that she would tell the truth if that was required of her. This concluded my contact with Hines. Suspect interview, Miranda. I returned to my patrol unit and advised the suspect, who was identified as Matthew Hines, that I was going to advise him of his rights. I then read him his Miranda rights per my department-issued Miranda warning card. To question number 1, he said yes, and to question number 2, it sounded as though he said no, and I attempted to confirm that with him. At that point, he said that he did not say no, but he would talk to me if I wished. The following is a summary of the interview that took place while Hines was seated in the back seat of my patrol unit. Hines' first statement was that his mother had exaggerated, and he did not threaten her with a knife or a sword. He did admit he had a sword in his hand, but that he was only arguing with her as to what the sword was actually worth. He indicated that his mother thought the sword was worth thousands, and he thought it was only worth $100. I asked him if he specifically had threatened her with a kitchen knife, and I showed him the kitchen knife. He said no, he hadn't. I asked him if he had kept his mother from making a phone call or told her not to make a phone call, and he said he hadn't done anything like that. I asked him if it was possible that he had said something like that, and he said he did not recall. I asked him if his level of intoxication may have caused him problems remembering things that he may or may not have done, and he said that it was a possibility. He confirmed that he had only consumed a pint of alcohol, although it appeared to be more intoxicated than if he would have only consumed a pint. I asked Hines what he was on parole for, and he indicated that he was on parole for false imprisonment. I asked him who the victim was in the false imprisonment case, and he indicated the victim was his mother. I asked him who the victim was when he was charged in 2008 or 2009 with elder abuse, and he indicated that it was also his mother, the victim. This concluded my interview with Hines. Arrest and transport. Hines was arrested for assault with a deadly weapon and elder abuse. He was transported to the Boulder County Jail, where he was booked on the above stated charges. I booked the sword, the knife, and the CD containing the interviews done while at the scene into evidence. See attached DR3 for further information. I also photographed a sword inside the residence, which was a sword that the suspect had apparently attempted to get off of the wall. I took the sword that he threatened the victim with and photographed that along with the kitchen knife while at the Boulder station. I also photographed the victim and her injuries and placed those photographs into the digital imaging managing system at the Boulder station. Case cleared by arrest. Forwarded to the district attorney's office for review and filing. The undersigned is informed and believes that on or about March 25, 2015, count 1 in the above named judicial district, the crime of elder or dependent adult abuse in violation of Penal Code Section 368B1, a felony was committed by Matthew Hines, who did under the circumstances and conditions likely to produce great bodily harm and death, knowingly and willfully cause and permit Noel Hines, an elder and dependent adult, to suffer and inflicted thereon wound, unjustifiable physical pain and mental suffering, and having the care and custody of said person willfully caused and permitted her to be placed in a situation in which her health was endangered, and knew and reasonably should have known that said person, Noel Hines, was an elder and dependent adult. It is further alleged that pursuant to Penal Code Section 1170H3, defendant Matthew Hines is eligible for imprisonment in the state prison due to the current charges and is a serious violent felony. The crime is not punishable pursuant to Penal Code Section 1170H3. On or about March 25, 2015, count 2 in the above named judicial district, the crime of assault with a deadly weapon in violation of Penal Code Section 245A1, a felony, was committed by Matthew Hines, who did willfully and unlawfully commit an assault upon Noel Hines with a deadly weapon, to wit, a knife. Notice the above offense is a serious felony with the meaning of Penal Code Section 1192.7c. Notice, conviction of this offense will require you to provide specimens and samples pursuant to Penal Code Section 296. Willful refusal to provide the specimens and samples is a crime. It is further alleged that pursuant to Penal Code Section 1170H3, defendant Matthew Hines is eligible for imprisonment in the state prison due to the current charge and is a serious or violent felony. The crime is not punishable pursuant to Penal Code Section 1170H3. Count 3, on or about March 25, 2015, in the above named judicial district, the crime of assault with deadly weapon in violation of Penal Code Section 245A1, a felony, was committed by Matthew Hines, who did willfully and unlawfully commit an assault upon Noel Hines with a deadly weapon, to wit, a sword. Notice the above offense is a serious felony within the meaning of the Penal Code Section 1192.7c. Notice conviction of this offense will require you to provide specimens and samples pursuant to Penal Code Section 296. Willful refusal to provide the specimens and samples is a crime. It is further alleged the pursuant to Penal Code Section 1170H3, defendant Matthew Hines is eligible for imprisonment in the state prison due to the current charge is a serious or violent felony. The crime is not punishable pursuant to Penal Code Section 1170H3. And count 4, on or about March 25, 2015, in the above named judicial district, the crime of criminal threats in violation of Penal Code Section 422, a felony, was committed by Matthew Hines, who did willfully and unlawfully threaten to commit a crime which would result in death and great bodily injury to Noel Hines, with the specific intent that the statement be taken as a threat. It is further alleged that the threatened crime on its face and under the circumstances which it was made was so unequivocal, unconditional, immediate, and specific as to convey to Noel Hines a gravity of purpose and an immediate prospect of execution. It is further alleged that the said Noel Hines was reasonably in sustained fear of her safety and the safety of her immediate family. Notice, the above offense is a serious felony within the meaning of the Penal Code Section 1192.7c. It is further alleged that the pursuant to Penal Code Section 1170H3, defendant Matthew Hines is eligible for imprisonment in the state prison due to the current charge and a serious or violent felony. The crime is not punishable pursuant to Penal Code Section 1170 H3. And lastly, count 5. On or about March 25, 2015, in the above named judicial district, the crime of false imprisonment, elder, dependent adult, in violation of Penal Code Section 368F, a felony was committed by Matthew Hines, who did commit false imprisonment of Noel Hines, an elder and dependent adult, by use of violence, menace, fraud, and deceit. It is further alleged that the pursuant Penal Code Section 1170H3, defendant Matthew Hines is eligible for imprisonment in the state prison due to the current charge, a serious or violent felony. Well, we finished it. All right, let's do a little bit of, oh, good, Adam's here too. Good morning, Adam. All right, let's do some jury charge. How are we doing on time? Perfect. All right, this is a continuation from what we started on Wednesday night. Here we go. I'm going to start at 180. I got up to 225 on that last take, and we did a lot of 225 on that one. Okay. All right, so we'll start at 180, work my way to 225. But the point is, it is not a savings and loan, and for them to raise this in some sort of unclean hands or bad faith or whatever, they have to show that particular alleged conduct, and I submit this is not even conduct. This is internalizing. The thing they want to inquire into has got to be directed against the party who is raising this. They certainly are not in the savings and loan business. This would not be actionable at their behest. And lastly, Your Honor, the fact that Gibson does have a cross complaint against Coast, I don't think that they can bootstrap from the case and expand the perimeters of their discovery based upon a cross complaint, a cross action within the confines of the total action to which they are not a party. Whatever right Gibson may have is fine. Whatever discovery that they want to take within the perimeters of this pleading, they can take. Some party who is not a party to that particular cross action cannot say, well, we want to get into this thing too. Now, with respect to the questions, Your Honor, these some 60 questions, I think they really break down into very limited number of categories. First, we have questions 1 through 7, and they are listed on page 24A and 26D of the points and authorities filed by Huntington Center in support of this motion. Again, it's pages 24A and 26D. This is the points and authorities. All right, now shortly before the colloquy that appears on those pages of the Huntington Center's points and authorities, Mr. Penwell testified, and this is on page 32 of the deposition. I see these depositions have been lodged with the court, that they had negotiated branch offices for Coast in various other places, such as Walnut Creek, California, which is some 500 miles away, Diamond Bar out in the Pomona area, West Covina, San Gabriel Valley, Long Beach. All right, I let counsel inquire into the fact that Mr. Penwell had conducted these negotiations for branch sites because I thought it had limited relevancy to the man's capabilities and his background and so forth and so on. Then counsel wanted to get into the negotiation of the terms and provisions of each of the leases, whether Coast engaged as a broker and what they told the broker and what they instructed the broker. I submit, Your Honor, this is just too far afield. I mean, we could go on forever in these depositions on that basis. So I think questions 1 to 7 respecting the negotiation by Mr. Penwell of these other branch sites having nothing to do with Huntington Center or Huntington Beach or negotiations of the other branch sites within 30 miles of Huntington Center. It is just, so much absurdity in context of this particular site. Now, let's go on to the questions 8 through 55. It seems to me, Your Honor, these can be treated as one group. These appear at pages 27A to 27W of the points and authorities filed by the Huntington Center. And then also question 60, which is a page 30A, I think. It belongs in this group. Now, all of these deal, Your Honor, with the question of why Coast is relocating its branches from Huntington Center to Ettinger Plaza location, chose to move to Ettinger Plaza rather than to some other alternative location. Now, among other things, there are a series of questions asked to which officers participated in the discussion to use Ettinger Plaza, why that site was chosen among various alternatives, Mr. Penwell's conversations with officers as to why that site was chosen. It has nothing to do with, as I pointed out earlier, with any anti-competitive motivation, assuming that it can conceivably be in an issue. But again, the fact is they moved out of the Huntington Center, and what rights that they may give Huntington Center depends upon the interpretation of the lease and upon the application of the lease. And why then it chose to move out. It chose location A rather than B, C, or D. It seems to me, again, if these questions are permitted to be asked of Mr. Penwell, we're going to have to fix 5 more rounds of these questions. And going on by the end of May, it is going to take about, I would say, the end of May. I think it is a useless kind of discovery. Question 56 on page 28A. Now that question was answered, and I don't know why the motion was even made. Mr. Penwell was asked when he became aware of Coast's decision to relocate, and there was a specific answer to that question. Question 57 was not answered, but it seems to me that it was an incomplete question because there was colloquy developed in the middle of the question, and the answer was never completed. Now, the last 2 questions, I don't have the number of them now, but on pages 29A and 29B, Mr. Penwell is asked of what other savings and loans or competitors of Coast he is aware of within a 3-mile radius of Huntington Center. Again, Your Honor, that goes to the so-called anti-competitive desire, belief, attitude, motive, which I don't think is an issue in this case. Thank you very much, Your Honor. There's more, but we're going to stop right there. All right. Let's start some Q&A. I have a new transcript here. They are questioning a veterinarian, and it's about a horse, a particular horse. And it looks like plaintiff is questioning. We'll start at 180 and work our way to 225. Here we go. Doctor, could you state your full name for the record, please? Don Scott Varner. And what is your present residence address? 1550 Silver Bit Court, San Dimas. How long have you lived out in that area, generally speaking? In San Dimas or Southern California? San Dimas, San Gabriel Valley area, so on. Since 2003. Is that when you moved from Georgia? Yes. I see. I understand you are a veterinarian? Yes. And you went to the University of Georgia? Yes, I did. You graduated in 2003? Yes, I did. Then you came back out here after graduation? Yes, I did. Did you live out here in California before that and go to school out in that area? I lived in Georgia. I see. How did you happen to get out to California? I came out for a job. I see. Worked with somebody. Okay. Yes, I see. As I understand it, you have your own independent practice at this time. Is that true? Yes. How long have you been in your own practice? I believe it's been, let's see, this is 2015, I would say 8 years. And generally practice out in the Chino, San Dimas area? Yes. Since that time? Yes. Are you married? No, I am not. All right. I assume that you had a few moments at some point in time to sit down with your attorney here today and discuss generally what a deposition is all about. Is that true? Yes. Have you ever given a deposition before? No. At the chance of repeating what I'm sure your attorney has already told you, let me go through just a few basic ground rules and a few other elements of a deposition, just so you won't think I'm being rude if I do something during the course of this, and so on. One thing I found over the years in a deposition is that after you go for a little while in the deposition, it becomes a little more casual, and there's a tendency, as we all do in normal conversation, to step on each other's lines as we speak. It has two purposes: that we wait until each of us fully complete our responses or questions, because I may throw something in at the end and you might not get the import of the question. That would be unfair to you. Also, our court reporter will get irritated, I should say both of them, with us. If we both speak at the same time, they literally have to change from one to the other on the machine as they type away there. And if we both speak at the same time, they have to rely on their their memory, and so on. So it becomes a little bit difficult, okay? So if I catch you and you're stepping on one of my lines, I'm not going to be rude, but it's just so we get a nice clear record of everything that is said, and they will both be happy with us. Do you understand that? Yes. You have the unusual habit of saying yes and no, which most people don't do, so that's good. If you happen to say uh-huh or huh-uh, I'll probably catch that and ask which one it was, because you'll see on the record that it becomes somewhat ambiguous when you spell out uh-huh and huh-uh on the record. So that's why I say I'll stop and ask you if it's yes or no if you do that. Also, our court reporters can't be interpretive. If you shake your head or nod your head or something like that, I have to ask you what your response is, because they won't know. Probably the most important part of the deposition is just simply understand my questions. You are a veterinarian. There are certain phases and terms or phrases that may be peculiar to your particular industry. If there's a question that you do not understand, it is my duty and obligation to pose questions to you that you understand. Along that line, can you tell us what you would only answer those questions that you did in fact understand? Yes. In other words, please stop me and ask me to repeat or rephrase if there's something you are not comfortable with relative to my question, okay? All right. Do you understand that? Yes. All right. You understand you have taken an oath, which simply means you have to tell the truth. The other thing we would like to tell the deponents is that even though we are in front or not in front of a judge or a jury and so on and so forth at the courthouse, your testimony today has the same force and effect as if you were in a court of law. Do you understand that? Yes, I do. Where did you do your undergraduate work? Georgia. So you did all 8 years out in Georgia? Yes, I did. All right. After you graduated from Georgia, you came out here and worked for somebody? Yes, I did. There's no requirement like I'm used to in the medical field of a residency working with somebody for a period of time, is there, relative to your California license? No. And who did you work for when you came? Doctors Gibson and Stevens. Can you say that again, please? Doctors Gibson and Stevens. And where are they located? At the time, it was San Dimas. They have since moved. They have since broken up. Are they still in the area? Yes. And were you working for them? I'm not asking you for your legal definition, but what we might typically call an employee. Were you working as an employee and getting a check and so on and so forth, and working 40 hours a week? No. More than 40 hours a week? Yes. How many more hours than 40 hours a week? How long did you work for them? 2 or 3 years? Probably 4 years. So you went off on your own in 2007 or 2008? Yes. And were you a sole practitioner after that point in time? Yes. Generally speaking, is there a sort of geographical area that you practiced? Yes. And what areas would that be? Approximately from Pasadena to Norco. I can understand Norco. Okay. Over the past year or so, have you been in partnership with any other DVMs or had any other business, DBAs or anything like that? No. And over the past, say, 2 years, have you advertised your services or held yourself out? Is there a business name or is it just your name? Just my name. And I don't assume that your license in the state of California has ever been suspended, revoked, or curtailed for any other reason, has it? No. Do you have any licenses in any other states? Well, you said for any other reason. My license is not curtailed right now. Okay, I'm sorry about that. Yes, let's correct that. Now, let's say that again. I don't assume that your license in the state of California has ever been suspended, revoked, or curtailed for any reason, has it? No. Okay, thank you very much. Do you have any licenses in any other states? Georgia, Florida, and South Carolina. Is that by way of application? Do you just put the application in, or do you have to sit and take a test? You have to take a test for each specific state. Okay, do you have any plans on giving up, leaving, or abandoning your practice in California at this point in time? No, I do not. Now, within your given field as a veterinarian, do you limit yourself to any certain area of veterinary medicine? Yes, I do. I focus strictly on equine. Okay, and has that pretty much been the area of emphasis that you have limited your practice to over the last 11 or 12 years? Yes, it has. Did you have any special training in equine veterinary medicine? Yes. There isn't any sort of board certification or specialization within your profession, is there? There are several. And do you hold such certificates? No. Is it like I'm used to in the medical field that you are a board certified in a certain area and so on? Well, they have that for different areas in veterinary medicine. What areas in California to your knowledge? Well, it's the same throughout the United States, not specifically for California. It is a national board? Yes, it is. All right, and what national boards are you aware of? Well, there's only one national board. Are you talking about special boards? Yes, that's what I was referring to. They are offered in every field of veterinary medicine. All right, and that is, you would then take a nationalized test and could hold yourself out as a specialized in a particular field. I'm not sure what you mean by nationalized test. Well, how do you get specialized? How do you get board certified? Well, it begins with what field you want to go into. For example, surgery. You have to work for a board certified surgeon for a number of years, and then you have to take a specialty exam that is given by the particular board. Is there one specifically for equine? Well, there is one for surgery, one for medicine. I'm not sure whether there is one specifically for equine. I don't believe there is. Equine medicine is specific to horses, mules, donkeys, etc. Is there a specialized area for that particular area that you are aware of? I don't understand what you are asking. Sure, what I want to know is, relative to being a vet for horses, can you get a specialized certificate or a specialization in that area to where you could say, I am board certified and specialized in this area of veterinary medicine? There wasn't at the time when I graduated at the time. I'm not sure if there is one right now or not, to be honest with you. All right, it hasn't been an area of interest for you to go back and check it out or do anything in that area, correct? Correct. But you do pretty much limit yourself to small practice, as you told us. You don't do small dogs, animals, cats, etc. I do not do small animals, no. And do you maintain an office? Yes, I do. And is the office just for the purposes of doing your paperwork and so on? You don't have people come in to see you, do they? Occasionally to look at radiographs or to go to a consultation, yes. I see, okay. And where is your office? Diamond Bar. And the specific address? 849 North Diamond Bar Boulevard. And you keep and maintain your records for your clients and specific horses that you treat? Yes, I do. Okay, I imagine you chart everything you do just like every other medical person, correct? Yes, I do. And did you have a chart on this particular case? We have a computer chart, yes. Did you take a look at that before your deposition started today? No, I did not. When is the last time you looked at it? I don't remember. Within the last year? I would say probably after I received the notice of my lawsuit. I see. And when you say a computer generated chart, is this something that, let me make a guess. Do you have a laptop computer that you take out in the field with you, so to speak? No, the computer is at the office. I see. What do? You chart out in the field? Yes. Then what do you do? How do you enter it into your computer? Well, my secretary writes it, and then she puts it into the computer. That's our medical record. And in this particular case, which I'm sure you know what we are referring to, the incident where my client was hurt by the horse and so on and so forth on the Adams property. Yes. Did you chart that particular treatment to this horse? Was there some chart that was developed? How do you define chart? Notes. Yes, I made notes of what I did. indications of what your treatment was as a DVM and so on and so forth? Yes. And on that chart, was there any notation of the incident where Mrs. Tipton was injured? No. All right, just straight medical, might we say, of what you did for the horse and what the horse's problem was and so on and so forth? Yes. I may be somewhat confused of the name of this horse. Was it called Swell and Honey? I think it was Sweeter and Honey or Sweeter and Honey. Okay, I knew it was something like that. Okay. And how would you have so designated that record? When you are treating a horse, how do you, in your logging system or record system, indicate what it is, who it is, whose horse it is, and so on? I mean, is it the Adams chart, the name of the horse? What is it? What do you do? How do you chart it? Well, it's particular to who's getting the bill on the horse. Okay, and who was going to get the bill in this case? The bill was made out to Michelle Thompson. I believe that's her name. I'm not real sure, but I think that's her. Yes, I think you are correct. All right. You have just a one-page document to this, computer generated? Yes, for Michelle Thompson. Okay, I believe it would be one page. I'm not really sure. Had you ever treated any of her horses prior to this horse? I'd have to look it up to say for sure if I did or didn't. What is your best recollection? I'm not going to call you a liar if you're wrong. Unless she had a horse with another client, probably not. You don't have to. This wasn't an ongoing relationship with this particular person versus somebody you have done work with for years. Is that correct? With Michelle Thompson? Correct. I may have. If she had a horse with the Adams, I may have worked on the horse then, but the Adams would have gotten the bill. So I'd have to look it up on the computer to see if any other work was done for Michelle. All right, now let's assume for a moment you've had more than one horse that you have been called in to treat for Michelle Thompson. Do you then in your computer system break it down by each horse? Yes, I do. All right, so you would have some sort of a sub file on each horse that you may be attending to, correct? Yes. Now the horse that was involved in the incident, had you ever treated that horse before? I'd really have to look back on the records, to say for sure. Do you happen to know if you delivered it? I probably took a blood test on the horse after it was born. That is routine. But you don't have any recollection at this point in time? Well, at the time that the horse was born, it belonged to the Adams. And all I do the veterinary work for the Adams. So as far as the horses are concerned, so if the horse had any need to be seen by a veterinarian, I probably saw the horse, yes. Do you have any recollection of that though? Every horse that's born gets a blood test taken called an IgG test. Did you say IgG? Yes, it's an antibody test for newborn foals. I don't remember specifically testing that horse, but I'm sure I did if it was born at the ranch. Other than that, I have no recollection. At what age level, whether it be days or whatever, is the antibody test taken? Usually day 1. All right, do you have any recollection of being called out and told that there was a new live foal and to do the test? At the Adams Ranch, I do the test when I'm there, so I'm not usually called specifically for that. I'm usually there for other reasons. In other words, you have an ongoing, or did at the time at least, an ongoing relationship where you were out there fairly regularly? Yes. Now let's go back to generally speaking at or about the time of the accident in December of 2013. Were you out there every day? What would be your frequency about that time? Well, about that time of the year, not that frequent. That's not the breeding season. Once a week? That time of the year can vary. I'm just looking for a general parameter. See, I don't know if you're there once every 6 months or twice a day. During the breeding season, which curtails roughly between the end of January to the end of August, I'm probably at the ranch at least every other day, sometimes less, sometimes more often. It just depends. From the time period of, say, September to January, it's variable. When there is a problem, they call me and I come right out. And in reference to when the accident occurred, how long had you had that type of business relationship or frequency that you were going out to see the Adams? Let's see, that was December of 2013. I would say probably roughly 5 years before that. When you worked with the Adams, how would you handle the billing of your services? Was there a flat rate? The ranch was billed usually. And I guess what my question is pointed to is, did you have some agreement with the Adams that in a given month, I'm going to bill you for this no matter how many times I come out? Or did each horse for each service that you rendered get a specific bill and you kept a ledger on your computer and then sent it out to them? Yes. So might we say each labor that you were involved in would generate a specific charge for your vet services, correct? Usually, yes. And when you say usually, did you have another arrangement with the Adams by which you were sort of, I guess, for lack of a better term, sort of on a general retainer that you would get so much per month or year? No. Then overall, basically, you were paid for a specific job or a specific treatment? Yes. And your contacts, when you say the Adams, that would be Mr. and Mrs. Adams? Yes. They, to your knowledge, back in 2013, were both involved in the raising and breeding of horses and so on? Yes. Was it your understanding that they went by a name of the Flying A Ranch? Yes. Is that who you billed, Flying A Ranch? For who? When you would go out there to give your services to an Adams, or excuse me, to an animal, one that would have been owned by the Adams, did you email or mail? I believe it's under Flying A Ranch. It's either Flying A Ranch or Brad or Irene Adams. Okay, now do you have any recollection as you sit here today? Well, let me go back to something. With your computer-generated medical chart for each animal, once you come out into the field, you say you give those notes to your secretary? Yes. Okay, stop right there. Do you have the same secretary working for you now that you did back in December of 2013? My secretary is now ill. Her name is Jenny, and I have had a temporary secretary in right now. I'd have to look back and see if Jenny was there in December of 2013. I'm not sure. She's been there approximately 2 years, but I'm not sure exactly if she was there at the time. All right, we did quite a bit of 225 there. Let's do some read back. And again, if you don't feel comfortable reading back, just let me know and you can pass. Not a big deal. Okay. I'm curious to see. I'm still marking that transcript. I've got about halfway through and I still don't know what the accident was yet. So it'll be interesting to find out what happened, why somebody is suing, you know, how this lady got hurt. All right. So we'll start at 225. Then again, oh, Adam has a question. Yes.
Hey.
Hi, Adam. Hi.
I just have a question. What do you guys write for and so on and so forth?
Oh, I write it out, but do you guys have a brief?
Yeah.
Olivia says no.
They just fly through it so fast. I mean, I thought something up, but I wanted to see if, like, you guys already had something in place.
Catherine, you write yours out too?
I mean, I have something for so forth. It's just sorth, SORGT. But I was just writing it out because as I was going, I just forgot that I even had that. But
at least so forth, though. That at least if you could brief that, that's a good one. So you don't have a problem with the RGT?
No.
Okay. I guess if you just get that finger up so it doesn't hit the N.
I mean, you could do I don't know what would work for you, but you could do snorth.
Yeah.
SNOR. I don't know.
I was thinking, and you guys do SKP for and, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so SKPON for and so on, and SKPO either FT or RT. No O. SKPRT or FT. I think FT for so forth.
Fourth, yeah.
See, my fourth is
NFT.
For me, fourth is TPORTSDZ. That's my fourth. So I would do STPORTSDZ. That would be my so forth. But my fourth, like I said, is FOR. And my TH is those TSDZ. That's my TH.
Oh, what theory do you have?
Oh, this is an old one. This Herman Miller. It's old, very old.
That's okay. That's okay. I just wondered because I've never heard of that one.
Yeah.
Because our GT is our TH is GT.
And
and sometimes that's tough, Yeah. And sometimes my finger gets lazy and wants to hit the L or
Yeah.
So yeah, that's good. That's good.
The other question.
Yeah.
Are there commas between and so on and so forth? or is it just written straight
Ooh.
out?
Let me see. And so on. I don't think so. But let me look. Let me look. And so on and so forth. Do you remember, was that toward the end?
No.
No? Okay. That's okay.
Maybe in the middle,
Okay.
beginning side of the middle.
Let me
So
see.
on and
Hold
so
on.
forth.
Let's see. I don't
It
think so.
was
Well,
why.
What would
let's
you do,
see.
Catherine? You scope for your aunt. Would you put commas there?
No, mm-mm.
I wouldn't either.
Maybe if they took out the and, like if they just said so on, so forth, maybe then I'd put a comma in there. But if with the and in there, I wouldn't put a comma.
Exactly. That's what I was thinking. Because it's not a complete.
Yeah, it's not a sentence. It's not
Right.
a clause.
I can't find it. But yeah,
All right.
no, I wouldn't.
And
Kinda
I was checking my Margie's book. Margie, it's on page 407 when she talks about that pretty much. And I don't see, it's a definite comma around that. But on page 407, she's taking a look at and so forth and a few other things. And I'm looking, and so forth, and records and so forth. In this particular rule number, whatever, she doesn't have a rule number, but it's on page 408 in the Margie Wakeman's workbook. I don't know if you can see it.
Yes.
That's definitely, she talked about it on page 408. If you have her book, you can check it out there, the rule.
Thank you.
Uh-huh.
I did find it on this transcript. The sentence was, were you working as an employee and getting a check and so on and so forth and working 40 hours a week? And there's no comma at all in there.
Yeah, that's the
good.
answer to a question. Yeah, so
Yeah.
it's there.
Okay.
Cool.
Yeah. All right. Very good. Well, we learned something new today. And maybe a possible great brief. All right, let's do some read back. All right.
And done and forth.
Here we go. I'm going to do 1 at 225, then 200, then 180, okay? All right. Defense is questioning. Here we go. Ready? Do you remember the conversation you had with Mrs. Bold regarding that? Well, she asked me whether she could dry her clothes, and I said yes. And was that the day she did dry them? Yes. About when was it? Well, the time I do not know. I really don't remember. Where did this conversation take place? It was in my backyard. Was anyone else present at the time? My daughter was there. How old is your daughter? 4. And what did you tell Mrs. Bold about it? I didn't tell her anything about it. Well, did you tell her that she could or could not? I said that she could dry her clothes. And she proceeded to take advantage then of your facilities? Yes. Did you help her the first time that she was there? Yes, she was in a hurry and I helped her load them in the dryer. At about what time of the day was that? Do you remember? Well, it was in the morning. I don't know the exact time. Well, would you say it was 2 hours before noon or an hour before noon? Oh, well, around 9, I guess. And was the dog there at the time? Yes, it was. Incidentally, what kind of dog is this? It's just a dog. How large is the dog? Not terribly big. Would you say he is 2 feet high if he is standing on 4 legs? Gosh, I don't know. Do you know how heavy the dog is? No, I don't. I have never weighed it. Approximately how old is the dog? Around 9. I don't know exactly. Okay. All right. Next take will be at 200. Here we go. Do you remember the conversation you had with Mrs. Bold regarding that? Well, she asked me whether she could dry her clothes, and I said yes. And was that the day she did dry them? Yes. About when was it? Well, the time I do not know. I really don't remember. Where did this conversation take place? It was in my backyard. Was anyone else present at the time? My daughter was there. How old is your daughter? 4. And what did you tell Mrs. Bold about it? I didn't tell her anything about it. Well, did you tell her that she could or could not? I said that she could dry her clothes. And she proceeded to take advantage then of your facilities? Yes. Did you help her the first time that she was there? Yes, she was in a hurry and I helped her load them in the dryer. At about what time of day was that? Do you remember? Well, it was in the morning. I don't know the exact time. Well, would you say it was 2 hours before noon or an hour before noon? Oh, well, around 9, I guess. And was the dog there at the time? Yes, it was. Incidentally, what kind of dog is this? It's just a dog. How large is the dog? Not terribly big. Would you say he is 2 feet high if he is standing on 4 legs? Gosh, I don't know. Do you know how heavy the dog is? No, I don't. I have never weighed it. Approximately how old is the dog? Around 9. I don't know exactly. All right. One last time at 180. Do you remember the conversation you had with Mrs. Bold regarding that? Well, she asked me whether she could dry her clothes, and I said yes. And was that the day she did dry them? Yes. About when was it? Well, the time I do not know. I really don't remember. Where did this conversation take place? It was in my backyard. Was anyone else present at the time? My daughter was there. How old is your daughter? 4. And what did you tell Mrs. Bold about it? I didn't tell her anything about it. Well, did you tell her that she could or could not? I said that she could dry her clothes. And she proceeded to take advantage then of your facilities? Yes. Did you help her the first time that she was there? Yes, she was in a hurry and I helped her load them in the dryer. At about what time of day was that? Do you remember? Well, it was in the morning. I don't know the exact time. Well, would you say it was 2 hours before noon or an hour before noon? Oh, well, around 9, I guess. And was the dog there at the time? Yes, it was. Incidentally, what kind of dog is this? It's just a dog. How large is the dog? Not terribly big. Would you say he is 2 feet high if he is standing on 4 legs? Gosh, I don't know. Do you know how heavy the dog is? No, I don't. I have never weighed it. Approximately how old is the dog? Around 9. I don't know exactly. All right. So we'll go ahead and read this back. You guys want, well, you let me know when you find your spot. And if you want to pass, just say pass. I'm just dating this. Everybody find their spot?
Yeah.
Yeah? Okay.
I'll go first because I definitely have that one.
Okay.
All right. Defense attorney, question. Do you remember the conversation you had with Mrs. Bold regarding that? Answer, well, comma, she asked me whether she could dry her clothes, comma, and I said yes.
And you even have the commas in there. Oh my goodness. Awesome job. And
Question. And was darn little word. Was this the day she did dry them?
do you have that?
Answer, no.
That? That's okay.
Answer, yes.
Very good.
Question about when was it? Answer. Well, the time, I don't know. I really don't remember.
Now, do you have, well, the time I do not know?
Yes, I do.
Oh, yay. Good job.
I do not know. I really don't remember.
Good job. I'll let you guys, since there's 3 of you, I'll let you guys read it.
Oh.
You want to try it, Adam?
Oh, good. All right. Question: where did this conversation take place? Answer: it was in my backyard.
Awesome job.
Question: was anyone else present at the time? Answer: my daughter was there.
Awesome.
Okay. Question: how old is your daughter? Answer: 4.
Awesome.
Question: and what did you tell Mrs. Bold about it? Answer: I didn't tell her anything about it.
I don't know that one.
Shut up, Alexa. Answer: I didn't tell her anything about it.
Awesome.
Oh, is that it?
Yeah.
Oh, good.
Question: well, did you tell her that she could or could not? Answer: I said that she could dry her clothes, and she proceeded to take.
Oh, wait. That was the end of the question. I mean, the answer.
Okay.
Oops.
Yep,
Okay.
that's okay.
Exactly
You
what
had
I did.
it. I said that she could dry her clothes.
Yeah.
That was it.
Question, and she proceeded to take advantage then of your facilities? Answer: yes.
Awesome.
Yeah, I think this is the one I dropped.
That's okay. I'll take it. Question: did you help her the first time that she was there? Answer: yes. She was in a hurry, and I helped her load them in the dryer.
Question: at about what time of the day was that? Do you remember? Answer: well, it was in the morning. I don't know the exact time.
Question: well, oh, snap. What happened? It just disappeared.
Uh-oh.
Bro, hold on just a second.
Okay.
Gone
Yep.
forever.
Oh, snap. No.
Don't worry.
Where did it go? Okay, I hit something and I don't see it. I think it started with whale.
Yep.
They all start with well.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Question: well, would you say it was? Let's see here. Would you say it was 2 hours before noon, or an hour before noon? Answer: oh well, around. Oh well, around 9, I guess.
Awesome.
Question. Oh, crap. And was the dog there at the time? Answer: yes. He was. It was.
It was. Yep.
I
Awesome.
accidentally did a D, so it transcribed as defense. Yes, defense.
That happened to me too. That's funny. On that tape.
It
On this
did?
tape. On this tape, yeah.
Yes, defense.
Incidentally, what kind of dog? I just have to laugh at my mistakes. Okay. What kind of dog is this?
Oh.
Is that right? Is this?
Yeah.
Okay, because I had is that, and then I corrected it to is there, and then
I was there.
Okay. Answer:
Floppy fingers.
it's just a dog.
Awesome.
Question: how old is the dog?
Wait, do you have how large?
No, how old? Oh, how large is the dog? Answer: not terribly big.
Yep.
Wow.
Yep, that's it. Not terribly big.
Okay, I think I was trailing on this one, so we'll see. Question: would you say it is 2 feet high when standing on 4 legs?
Okay, wait. So let's do it again. So would you say he is
He is
2 feet high if
2
he
feet
is?
high. See?
That's okay.
By my memory. Mm-mm.
If he is standing on 4 legs, that's okay though. No worries.
If he is standing on 4 legs. I got the gist of it.
Yeah.
Which doesn't matter at all.
Do you guys phrase if he is, F-E-S?
Yeah.
Well, I should.
I love that phrase. If he is.
Yes.
F-E-S?
Yeah, because if is F.
Yeah.
Yeah. So F for if he is. Yeah.
Well,
Okay.
that's going in. I totally lost my spot. Hang on. If he is. Oh, it's my first option. It wants me to use it. Okay, 4 legs. There we go. Okay, answer. Gosh, comma, I don't know.
Awesome.
Question, do you know how heavy the dog is? Answer, no, I don't. I have never weighed it.
Perfect.
Question, approximately how old is the dog? Answer, around 9. I don't know exactly.
Good. Exactly. Do you guys do X-A-L?
It's 2 strokes for me. It's exact, then I come back from L. But
Okay.
that makes sense.
No,
X-A-L.
I write it all in one, X-A-L.
Well, then I will too.
Yeah, that's a good one too. And then how old? You guys do H-O-U-L-D?
Yeah, I do that.
Good. Yeah, I love all those. How far? How many? What? There's more too.
I do how often, but that one, I've had to train my finger how to do the FN. That's a tough.
Yeah, because you get it right in the middle. It's kind of hard when I do that one.
Oh, how often? Wow, I didn't know that one. FN?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I see what you mean. So you just can't hit the R, huh?
But never say you can't do it, because if you keep practicing, you can do it. I thought I would never be able to do FN. It is harder, but
you can do it.
And sometimes I misstroke, but it gets less and less.
That's an easy misstroke away from how much.
Oh, yeah, but
you could kind of tell. I think
you probably won't do that. You're more likely to do. Me personally, you hit
that R.
FRPN, and I just define that as how often too, because that's nothing else for me. So
yeah.
Anyways, that comes up a lot.
Yes. How often? I like that. I like that a lot. Well, great job, you guys.
Dang, it's already 10:25. Time flies.
When you're having fun.
When you have fun, yeah.
It's 12:25 here. The time really flew over here.
Wow.
Where are you?
Just outside Nashville.
Tennessee.
Yes.
Yeah.
Right in the middle of the music.
Yep.
Music City. We had a bad night last night. Our hockey team is out. I don't know if y'all follow hockey. I really don't, but everyone here is like crazy about the Nashville Predators. It's like crazy town. So, but we're out of the Stanley Cup. So.
Oh no.
So the whole town is depressed.
Sad day in paradise.
It is. Anyways.
Now, did your cousin ever say if she knows Larson?
No, I haven't even talked to her.
Okay.
And yeah.
You'll have to
I'll have to text her.
Yeah, because if it's not a big place, I bet they know each other.
At Centennial?
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm wondering, you said they were there for like a year or so, and she moved like a year and a half ago, so they might have just missed each other, but maybe. I'll ask her.
Yeah.
Anyways, it's a beautiful day here. How is it in California?
Cloudy out here in the Inland Empire. It looks like almost rain. It's cold.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
It's in the 70s though. Haven't been outside yet, but it's supposed to be in the 70s today.
Which is kind of nice because last weekend it was like 95, and I was like, oh, I'm not ready for that.
Last week was crazy. It was raining on Tuesday and Wednesday, and then it was 90 at the weekend. 90 in the 90s. It was stupid.
Yes.
Yeah. And it's supposed to be cold out here this next week, so yeah.
It'll be nice. I mean, I just know it's coming, you know?
Yeah.
Be cold longer.
Yeah.
Isn't that funny? And then when we lived in Oregon, I was like, oh, I miss warm weather. Now I'm like happy when we have a cloudy day.
Yeah.
Okay, so Olivia, I will get that. I will get those pages.
Okay, and one more question I want to ask you.
Yes.
You was talking about a veterinarian, and you said RN, what was that word that you, it was an RN, I don't know what it was. I don't know if it's for the horse, but I couldn't figure out what that word, I don't know if it's ORIN, I didn't know what it was.
Are you talking about the blood test they did?
It was something, it was some person. Orange, something. I know it began with an O or something.
Let me see.
Maybe I misheard it. I don't know.
There was an IgG test.
Yeah, I got that.
Okay.
Was it a long word?
I just remember Orin. O-R, something. That's what it sounded like to me. ORIN or something like that.
Equine?
Is that what it was?
Equine?
Oh. Yeah. Equine.
Equine? How do you spell that?
That's E. So it's EQUINE.
Okay, because I kept hearing quine, Orion. I don't know what I was hearing, but it wasn't. Okay.
Yeah. So just like you said, like it deals with horses and.
Right.
Yeah, I think she was pronouncing it with more like an A at the beginning, though, like equine.
Yeah.
I think I do that sometimes when I'm talking so fast and it just comes out as
But it's just fine because that's what most people do.
Right, exactly.
Gotta get used to it.
Okay.
Yeah, but it is equine, yeah.
Okay.
Yep. And then another thing he asked him,
equine.
Let's see, DVM.
Equine.
He said indications of what your treatment was as a DVM.
Which stands for
yeah, I don't know.
Okay, I'm gonna look that up because when he said that, I didn't know what that was. Okay.
Yeah, he says, have you been in any partnership with any other DVMs? Well, I'm sure the V is probably a veterinarian.
Veterinarian, yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, you're welcome. Yeah, equine, and then and then he said IgG test, and it was interesting because the IgG is capital I, lower G, uppercase G.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, so it's only a 2-word abbreviation. IgG.
Yeah, IgG. Capital I, lower G, lowercase G, uppercase G.
Is that how Iggy spelled IgGY? Just a lowercase y at the end?
For what now?
Never mind.
I thought you were asking me about a word in here.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, I didn't hear it.
Oh, you didn't hear it?
No.
Oh, I said Iggy. Is that how Iggy spells it?
Okay,
IgGY? With just add a lowercase y at the end?
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, man.
Oh, it's funny because I was I don't know why this popped in my head, but I was in an elevator once, and the girl that I was in the elevator with said, can you find, and she said the name of the elevator. And at the time I didn't even know what she was talking about. Now when I see the name of the elevator, do you guys know what the common name of the elevator is? There's a name in it.
Like the brand?
Oh,
made it?
Otis, that's it.
Otis, yeah.
Then every time I get in an elevator and I see that name, I think of that girl, because at the time I was like, what is this girl talking about? And now, you know what I mean? So now I'll always think of you when I hear Iggy.
Oh, thanks.
How did I even know that? I don't even know where that came from. Otis. Gosh.
You've been in some elevators.
I guess so. Stuck with
funny?
me.
Yeah, but if you stepped in an elevator and somebody said to you, where would you where can you see Otis in here? You would probably look at them like, what are you, because that's what I did. I'm thinking, what is this girl talking about?
Uh-huh.
It was just so random. But now every time I get in an elevator, I was just in an elevator like 2 days ago and I saw Otis and I automatically think of that girl. You know what I mean? It's just weird. So
That's funny.
Yeah.
What happens?
Yep.
Yep. So now I'll think of you as Iggy.
What have I done? Should have
All right.
refrained.
Well, I will oh, and Olivia, can I have your email again?
I'm gonna type it right here for you.
Perfect.
Ooh.
30
Let me get on
Yes.
that.
Okay. Olivia Ford
38.
38 at gmail.com. Perfect. And
Thank you.
I know I have it probably saved in my computer anyways, but
Okay.
just in
Okay.
case. So I got them all scanned.
Oh,
And,
thank you.
Yep. So I will send you that material and
Okay.
that practice material. And
Okay.
then, yep. All right, you
Speaking?
guys. Huh?
Huh?
What'd you say?
Nothing.
What'd you say?
So see you later.
All right. Hey, you guys have a, what did you say? You little silly.
Nothing. I'll see you later.
All right. Hey, have a great weekend, you guys.
You too. Thank you.
Thank you.
I'll talk to you
Thank you.
soon.
Okay.
Bye.
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 Bye.